morning, everyone. We are back again to this YouTube live session on Unacademy Eloquence. My name is Aastha, and I'm here, your educator, to discuss about tenses today. So let's start with our anthem, our motto for IELTS. Let's crack it. Yes. Here at Unacademy, we believe in cracking all the problems which come in the path of IELTS. So we are going to discuss about yesterday I had taken the YouTube session in which we had discussed about simple present and present continuous tense. Now as we know, tenses are so important, to understand the language. They form the root, they form the base of the language, right? And we have so many people joining up. I want everyone to write in their intro or drop a hi, and they can ask their doubts related to tenses so that you are able to connect, right? So yesterday we had discussed about present tenses, simple present and continuous, and today we are going to discuss about uh, present perfect and present perfect continuous tenses. Now, what happens actually, people get scared generally when they talk about tenses because somehow the rules confuse, some do not understand the context, some do not understand where the usage is, some are clear with the rules, but then when it comes to the application part, they fail. And tenses are obviously very important. They actually give you score in your grammatical accuracy. Even your cohesion and coherence comes out because of the tenses, right? You employ them, you use them when you're speaking, when you're writing, and even if in your passive skills of listening and reading. Okay, so let's start the class and let's start the discussion on tenses. Okay. Well, I teach on Unacademy platform plus cloud courses, so you can join that and you can use the referral code ASTHA, AASTHA, and also will 10% discount on it. Okay, so let's start with tenses. Now, when I'm speaking, I eat breakfast every day. I am teaching a class right now. This is a little revision. Simple, present, and continuous tenses, which we discussed yesterday. Okay? But if I say I have swum with sharks, means something which I have done recently in my life. Or if I say I have been living in China for several years, so something which I have been doing continually for a period of time, but which has not stopped yet. These are all present tenses in English, all four present tenses. Okay. Now, we know that there are 12 tenses in English and 3 times are there, such as past, present, and future. 4 aspects are there, such as simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. And it is very, very important to know how and when to use these tenses. Now, let's quickly jump on to present perfect tense. Now, if we go with the formation, I think I'll come back to this little later. First, let's discuss the examples. If I say in a positive manner, I'll say, I have visited Paris. The negative will be by inserting not in between. I have not visited Paris. And the question, the interrogative form will be, have I visited Paris? Question mark. So what am I doing? I am picking out the helping verb and I am putting it in the beginning of the sentence to form it an interrogative sentence or a question. Okay? You have visited Paris. You have not visited Paris. Have you visited Paris? We have visited Paris. We have not visited Paris. Have we visited Paris? Question mark. They have visited Paris. They have not visited Paris. Have they visited Paris? So, what do we conclude? that if we are starting the sentence with I, you, we, and they, we always use have with it. Okay? And the moment we come on to third person singular, he, she, it, we always use has with it. Like, he has visited Paris. She has visited Paris. It not visited Paris. And if I have to frame the questions, I'll ask, has he visited Paris? Has she visited Paris? Has it visited Paris? So now let's focus on what is the structure. The structure would be, when we have to make a positive sentence, we start with the subject followed by the auxiliary verb or the helping verb have, and then the past participle, which is also the third form of the verb, like eat, ate, eaten. So we are going with eaten. Read, read, read. So we are going with read. Okay? So visit, visited, visited. So we are going with the last visited. That's the third person. And if we have to make a negative sentence, then we put not after the verb have. Okay? So there are some irregular verbs also, such as just I said, eat, ate, eaten, write, wrote, written. Okay? So in that case also we are using the third form of the verb. And now let's understand what are the uses of present perfect tense. Okay, the first one is finished actions or states that happened at an indefinite time. So it refers to general experience without specific detail. For example, you say, she has eaten sushi. She has tried circus. She has tasted the recipe, she has tasted mangoes or sweet lime pickles. Okay, so something which is a general experience without specific detail, we can use present perfect for that. Number two, completed past actions carried out in an unfinished time period at the time of speaking. For example, if I have to say what she has done till now, she has had 4 coffees this morning. She has had. Here, had means to consume. They have been to the office twice today. Okay? So there was an unfinished time period at the time. Like, it means they might go again. They have been to. We don't know if this is likely to continue or not. We are not sure of it. But something which began in the past and is still true at the time of speaking. For example, if you're telling about yourself, your place, one example is, we have lived in Beijing for 6 years. We have lived in India for 6 years. Whether it will be, continued or not, that's different case. But we have lived. They have been a couple since 2012. So whether they'll remain the couple or not, again, that's different thing. I have worked in finance for almost a decade. Okay? And number four, when we describe past actions with present results, okay? Such as, oh no, I have left my purse at home. So what is the result? I don't have my purse or I don't have my money. Can you help me? I have lost one of my contact lenses. So, what is the result? That I don't have them right now. So, past actions with present results. There we use present perfect tense. Now, one thing to be noticed when we were talking about the positives and the negatives, we also learn about contractions side by side, such as I have, we can speak that as I have, I've, in the written form, you have, you've, we have, we've, they have, they've, he has, he's, she has, she's, it has, it's, with all apostrophes. So, what we're doing, we are omitting some letters and we are inserting apostrophe in place of them. Right? Now, let's understand one more aspect which is very, very important to understand present perfect and present perfect continuous tenses. The use of for and since. Now, many people get confused where to use for and where to use since because they are somehow not clear with the usage, okay, and they are most of the times used interchangeably also. So, where do we use since? Let's read the examples and then infer the meaning out of the examples. We have lived here for 5 years. I haven't slept for 48 hours. They have been at home since 8 o'clock. She has been a doctor since September. Now, if we focus, we are using the word for with periods of time, okay, for durations such as week, 6 months. It's the whole duration of period. So it's telling me, imagine a timeline in front. It starts, it ends, and the middle part we use for it, okay. But when you have to talk about specific points of time, then we use since. Let's visit the examples again. We have lived here for 5 years. It means it is telling the duration, 5 years. So we are using for. Okay? It is not that we lived there for one night. That's that. Then also it's a duration because it was the night time. So automatically for came out of my mouth when I said for one night. I haven't slept for 48 hours. Again, that tells me the duration. But if it is a specific time, such as 8 o'clock, it's not talking about duration. They have been at home since 8 o'clock. I have been waiting for you since 1 p.m. And supposedly came at 1 and you went back at 1:30. So you could have said, I have been waiting for you for half an hour. So the same thing gets converted into for. So therefore we are using since for point of time and we are using for the duration of time. So many people are coming online. I really want you to drop your messages so that we can interact. And moreover, you can also ask your doubts here and you can share which thing, pisses you off or is scary for you with respect to tenses. And yes, we are discussing present perfect and present perfect continuous tenses. Great. So after for and since, let's understand some more examples. I have been a secretary for 5 years. She has liked him for 6 months. He has eaten all the pizza. Now, it's time to learn some present perfect continuous tenses. Now, let's read some examples. How do we speak when we're talking about present perfect continuous tenses? I have been studying. I have not been studying. Have I been studying? What is the new addition here? The word been. Let's observe how it is structured. You have been studying. You have not been studying. Have you been studying? We have been studying. We have not been studying. Have we been studying? They have been studying. They have not been studying. Have they been studying? Now, what did we use? I have earlier, and the word was study, third participle, past participle. But here the structure changes. Let's understand about third person singular. He has been studying, she has been studying, it has been studying. And what will be the negative form? He has not been studying, she has not been studying, it has not been studying. And what would be the interrogative form? Has he been studying? Has she been studying? Has it been studying? Now let's talk about the forms. How do we form present perfect continuous tense? We have the subject in the beginning, then we place the auxiliary verb have, which is followed by been and then the verb plus ing. So we use the continuous form of the verb. That's called present perfect continuous positive sentence. And if we want to create a negative sentence, then we simply insert not before the been. Have not been. And if you want to create a question or an interrogative sentence, what do? We place the helping verb in the beginning. Okay? Now let's talk about some uses that where do we use present perfect continuous tense. Now, number one, it is used for describing an ongoing activity and the length of time that it has continued. For example, I have been learning Spanish for 6 months. It is an ongoing activity and it is also telling me how much time it has taken. And focus on the use of the word for 6 months. They have been caring for that sixth dog since last Monday. So, again, an ongoing activity is being described and also focus on the word since here, since last Monday, point of time. Number two, to describe a recently finished, uninterrupted activity which has a present result. For example, she is hungry because she has been dieting recently. Here, she is means she has been. So we have contracted she and has over here. Okay, let's have some more examples. We have been living in the street for 20 years. Okay, we have been living in this street for 20 years. Now, 20 years tell about the duration. Okay, so we are using the word for. He has been working in the garden since morning, an action which started in the past but is still continuing in the present. He has been working, and when will it end? We are not sure, but right now it's going on. Okay? Suppose you go home and you see your friend, you go to your friend's home and you see your friend studying and you ask, how long have you been studying? Your question is in present perfect continuous, and the answer would be, well, I have been studying for 30 minutes. If you want to know the duration, it would be 30 minutes. And if your friend wants to tell you about point of time, then he could say or she could say, I have been studying since 11 a.m. So it means since that time I'm studying till now. Okay? The third example is, it has been raining since yesterday. Okay? So it means it's still raining and it has not stopped raining. I have been using this laptop for 3 years. The workers have been demanding higher wages for a long time. So these are some quick examples of present perfect continuous tenses. Now I would like to announce, my dear students, that I'm launching new courses on Unacademy Plus from 3rd to 7th January and 9 to 14th January. Now the course which is being launched on 3rd to 7th January is course on building vocabulary for IELTS General and Academic Test, whereas the course which starts from 9 to 14 January is on English grammar. Okay, so you can subscribe using Aastha, my code AASTHA, and also avail 10% discount. Thank you for being here on the class. Hope you have enjoyed. Do like, comment and share this video with maximum number of friends so that everyone can be benefited by this small tiny class. It's very important to share the knowledge which you receive. So see you